Italy is the fifth most visited country in the world, and why wouldn't it be? It's long been a global destination for music, literature, art, cuisine, science, and technology. Did you know there are 55 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Italy alone? And what about the fact that it's home to St. Peter's Basilica, the biggest church in the whole world? Would you like to guess who invented batteries, thermometers, and eyeglasses? The Italians, of course. To find out more about this wonderful country, stick around and keep watching. 1. Italy, located in southern Europe, is part of the iconic boot-shaped Italian peninsula, along with several islands such as Sicily and Sardinia. Its neighboring countries are Austria, France, the Holy See, San Marino, Slovenia, and Switzerland. 2. Imagine getting as much red wine as you want, all for free. Well, in Italy, right in Villa Caldari, you'll find a free red wine fountain that is always active. Belonging to the Doris Archesi winery, this fountain was created by Dina and Luigi. During their pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela, they stumbled upon a free wine fountain and thought it would be a great idea to make something similar. 3. The capital city of Italy, Rome, is a living testament to over 2,500 wars and victories. Back in 753 BC, a legend named Romulus laid the foundation stones of what would become one of the most iconic cities in the world. But Rome wasn't always the capital of modern Italy. At first, it was Turin from 1861 to 1865, followed by Florence from 1865 to 1871, and then, in January 1871, Rome claimed its rightful place as the capital. 4. Are you familiar with Nutella, the kind of chocolatey, nutty spread? Yeah, this delicious spread was made in the town of Alba in Italy. Pietro Ferrero created the recipe, which was initially called Super Crema Gianduja. Later, the name was changed to Nutella, and this chocolate and hazelnut spread has been a worldwide success ever since. So, the next time you swirl Nutella on your morning croissant, say a silent thank you to Alba, where the magic began. 5. There's a restaurant in Italy that can only take 2 guests at a time. That's right, this restaurant, called Solo per Due, is located in the village of Vacone, in the Rieti province, and you'll find just 1 table that seats 2 guests. It is the smallest restaurant in the world and specifically targets couples as it has a romantic ambiance. The best part? You decide what you want, from the menu to the kind of music to be played and even the flowers. But hey, it doesn't come cheap. If you want to celebrate a special occasion here, be ready to spend at least €500. 6. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Caravaggio, Titian. Do these names sound familiar to you? As you may already know, many of the most popular artists in the world are Italian, and these are just a few. These artists have written their names in history forever with their paintings, sculptures, and architecture that can be seen throughout the country. 7. Picture a place that can accommodate about 80,000 people all at once. Amazing, right? In Italy, you'll find the biggest amphitheater ever created, which can hold that same number of people. Known as the Colosseum, it's one of the most famous monuments in the world and is also part of the new 7 Wonders of the world. 8. Many of us have the shared superstition that Friday the 13th is an unlucky day. However, in Italy, the superstition revolves around the number 17, not 13. And if you find yourself in Italy on Friday the 17th, you may as well cancel all plans, as it's believed to bring bad luck. This superstition links to the Roman numeral XVII, an anagram for vixi, meaning I lived, symbolizing death. Also, the 17th day's association with the Great Flood from Genesis adds to the superstition, and Friday's unlucky reputation comes from Jesus' crucifixion on a Friday. 9. It's time for us to debunk a major stereotype. Italians don't just feast on pasta every day. Pasta makes up a very small portion of their overall meal. Italian meals usually come with pasta as the first course, and then the star of the show would be a mouth-watering meat or fish dish. They may also have a side of vegetables and salad to complete the meal. Contrary to the hefty portions often seen in the US, UK, and Australia, the Italian diet is extremely balanced. 10. A particular animal in Rome gets special treatment, maybe even more than humans themselves. Yes, cats in Rome are treated like VIPs with real rights. They're considered to be a biocultural heritage. Messing with a cat, whether it's someone's pet or just a random stray, could land you a €10,000 fine or 3 years behind bars. You can think of Rome as a playground for about 300,000 cats who can roam as they please. 11. Guess what? Mount Etna, right in Catania, Sicily, is Europe's most hyperactive volcano. Residents living close to it can even catch a view of its eruptions on random weeknights. Not only does it make a pretty glow show for the locals, but those mini eruptions can be real trouble for nearby airports, sometimes leading to flight cancellations. 12. It's normal for you to move out of someone's way, especially if you're blocking them, but Italians don't get that. Italians have a unique concept of personal space. Let's just say they might be a bit preoccupied with noticing what's happening around them, especially in lines and public spots. The locals love to gather and have a chit-chat right in the middle of the sidewalk. So if you want a smooth walk, you might have to make the extra effort to avoid hitting them. 13. Here's something you may or may not believe. Over €1.3 million take a plunge into the Trevi fountain every year. Yeah, that's a whole lot of cash. But here's the thing. So many eager tourists visit this iconic fountain in Rome, tossing coins with a wish. 1 coin for a return trip to Rome, and 2 for a shot at love. And you're probably thinking, how do they manage to account for all that money? Well, to reduce any chances of theft, city workers scoop up all the money in the fountain every night. And no, they're not buying gelato with it. Instead, all that treasure goes straight to a charity. 14. Italy has 2 bonus countries right inside its borders. First up, we have the Vatican City, the tiniest country on the planet, right within the hustle and bustle of Rome. And second, there's San Marino, the 5th smallest country worldwide. It's located between the Italian regions of Emiliano-Romagna and Marche, like Italy's secret neighbor. So, whenever you're in Italy, you get to visit 2 more countries for the price of 1. 15. Most Italian food recipes would be nothing without tomatoes. And who do they have to thank for this? The Spanish people. In 1548, the tomato, or as they call it, the pomodoro, made its grand entrance into the culinary world of the Italians after being brought over from the New World. And as you would guess, it stole the spotlight immediately. Ragu, caprese salad, you name it. Italians have put tomatoes to delicious use in a million ways. Can you even imagine Italian cuisine without tomatoes? It's like trying to imagine pizza without the cheese. Or the tomato sauce, I suppose. It's basically impossible. 16. What would you give to live in the very same place your ancestors did? Well, in Matera, some people live in the same cage dwellings where their ancestors stayed as far back as 9,000 years ago. You might think these places are old, unkept, and raggedy, but no. This remote region in Basilicata is a delicate maze of cave dwellings that have been a cozy abode for generations. However, in the 1950s, these caves hit a rough patch, becoming completely malaria-ridden. People had to pack up and find places to settle. Fast forward a few years, and those who once called the caves home after becoming wealthy returned, gave their ancestral caves a glow-up, and turned Matera into a living, breathing time capsule. 17. Pizza is a comfort food for a lot of people. Believe it or not, the birthplace of the original pizza is none other than Naples, or Napoli, as the Italians like to call it. Now, we're not talking about those ancient accounts of folks eating different cooked things on top of round bread. Nope. The real deal, the authentic pizza we all know and love, was made in the mid-19th century, courtesy of the streets of Naples. 18. Back in the day, after the Roman Empire was left in shambles with invasions left and right, they thought, hey, maybe paving our roads makes us a little too accessible to invaders. So they stopped paving their roads. Centuries later, guess who decided to take a bold step? Well, it's none other than the fabulous city of Florence. In 1339, Florence decided it was high time to bring back the smooth roads, becoming Europe's first city with paved streets. 19. Calling all fashionistas. Suppose you think your fashion game is strong. In that case, you should probably visit Italy first because one of the coolest things about Italy is its globally recognized fashion game. Italy is home to the best in the design game, with big names like Giorgio Armani, Gucci, and Prada leading the pack. When in Milan, the fashion capital of Italy, you might want to channel your inner fashionista and do a little shopping. You definitely want to look your best while walking the streets of this fashionable city. 20. We all know about the Romans and their history with Italy. But what if we told you there were people in Italy before the Romans stole the show? Around 900 BC, the Etruscans were a pre-Roman civilization. They engaged in wars with the Romans and the Romans won, and the Etruscans became part of the city-state's expansion plan. However, the Etruscans still left their mark in history. Ever heard of Tuscany? The Etruscans are the people who gave their name to this beautiful Italian city. So, next time you're sipping wine in Tuscany, remember, you're not just toasting to the Romans, but also paying respect to the ancient Etruscans. 21. What's your take on witchcraft? You probably think it doesn't exist. But here's something that just might make you believe. The island of Sardinia in Italy has a long history of local witches stirring up some magic. Specifically in Paved, a lively community of witches is still doing their thing. Yeah, that's right. Charms, spells, and potions are all part of their mystical playbook. And no, unlike the stories you've heard, these witches don't use their skills for evil. Instead, they brew health potions to cure different illnesses. Who needs a pharmacy when you've got a local witch on speed dial, right? 22. The Italians love their cheese, and it's a major part of their cuisine. But how much cheese do you think is too much? You might be thinking of hundreds of cheeses. Still, no, Italy takes it to the next level with over 2,500 unique varieties. And here's the fun part. Over 500 are officially recognized, with 52 holding the protected status. Of course, we can't talk about Italian cheese without mentioning some of the classics: Parmigiano Reggiano, Gorgonzola, Mozzarella, and Ricotta. They're like the A-listers of the cheese world. So if you thought you knew cheese, think again. 23. Imagine a town with not one, not two, but 72 towers, all standing tall and proud like a skyline straight out of Lord of the Rings. Welcome to San Gimignano in Tuscany, a town filled with towers built by wealthy families to flaunt their financial power. The taller the tower, the deeper the pockets of the family behind it. So, if you find yourself strolling through Tuscany, keep an eye out for some of these towers from a time when building high wasn't just a matter of preference, it was a statement of wealth and power. 24. Here's a twist you might not have seen coming. In Europe, people were a bit slow to catch on to the fork game. Knives were doing the cutting job just fine, and instead of forks, they preferred to use spikes. Imagine enjoying your pasta with a spindly wooden stick. Not the most practical, right? But that's how it went down for a while. The fork, seen by some as the tool of the devil, possibly because it had ties to the Ottoman Empire, took a very long time to become mainstream. And guess who changed the game? The Italians, of course. Around the 14th century, they decided enough was enough, and forks became the go-to utensil for enjoying spaghetti without the frustrations of a single stick. The rest of Europe, fashionably late to the fork party, joined around the 18th century. So the next time you twirl your spaghetti with a fork, thank the Italians for that. 25. With a population of just over 60 million, Italy proudly boasts one of the longest life expectancy rates on the planet. A major proof of this is the enchanting island of Sardinia. Sardinia is home to some of the world's oldest residents. And what's their secret? Well, according to the wise elders of Sardinia, the key to a long and healthy life is the delightful mix of grappa, grape-based brandy, and food from the earth. 26. Limone Sul Garda isn't just known for its stunning lemon orchards and jaw-dropping views. It's also hiding a little secret. In 1979, someone noticed something extraordinary about Limone. Among its 1,000 inhabitants, there were not just a few, but over a dozen folks who had hit the age of 100 years. Out of curiosity, researchers uncovered a rare protein in the residents' blood that repelled heart disease. So what's the secret sauce? Well, many believe it's Limone's golden lemons. When life gives you limone lemons, apparently, it gives you a chance at a longer life. 27. Italy wasn't always the united boot-shaped wonder we know today. It was once a captivating network of city-states, principalities, and regions under foreign control. Venice was a major part of this historical network with its grand canals and romantic spots. Fun fact, it even had colonies along the Dalmatian coast, flaunting its influence across the sea. But the real game-changer came in 1861 when King Victor Emmanuel II of Sardinia came around. Unifying Italy wasn't a swift process. It took a few years for all 11 states to put their differences aside and agree to play nice. To say it was complicated would be a huge understatement. 28. Italy is home to about 1,500 lakes scattered across the country. You get to enjoy the snowy Alps on one end and beautiful golden beaches on the other. You can enjoy a wonderful sail with the stars on the waters of Lake Como and Lake Garda, or embark on a delightful adventure in hidden gems like Lake Iseo and Lake Ledro. There's absolutely no shortage of natural beauty for you to bask in. 29. You may want to brace yourself for this one. There's a little warning surrounding the waves of Sicily. Beware of sea monsters. As you move through the Messina Strait between Sicily and Calabria, you might find yourself in the way of two legendary creatures straight out of Greek mythology, Scylla and Charybdis. And here's the tricky part. These sea monsters aren't just your regular terrifying beasts. They play the ultimate trick by appearing as beautiful nymphs, luring unsuspecting sailors into a false sense of security. And then, just like that, the magic wears off and you're face to face with creatures straight from your nightmares. 6 heads, multiple mouths, and eyes that glow in the dark. So, if you're planning a boat trip through the Messina Strait, stay alert. The sea might seem calm and beautiful, but lurking beneath the waves are the shape-shifting sea monsters of Sicily. 30. As of 2014, the charming Italian city of Padua became home to the world's deepest pool and a Guinness World Record holder. The Y40, the Deep Joy, is not your average swimming pool. It's the first and only facility for divers with thermal water, adding a touch of warmth to the deep-sea adventure. If you ever find yourself in Padua and would love to dive, the Y40, the Deep Joy, should be your go-to destination. And there you have it, 30 fun facts about Italy. If you have any fun facts, share them with us in the comments section. And remember to subscribe to our channel for insightful videos like this one.